welcome to this tutorial. I'll be teaching you how to host Laravel application on cPanel. If you have Laravel application and you're thinking of choosing an host company, and how do you push your Laravel application to cPanel and configure it to work? Now I'm going to show you a brief tutorial. If you look at the things that we'll be doing the tutorial, we're going to zip application from localhost, then move it to the cPanel. We're going to zip in the cPanel, arrange the file, prepare the database, and run artisan on cPanel. How do we run our artisan on cPanel? So follow me as I take you through the tutorial. First, we must have our application running in the localhost. We have an application. This is my application that is already running. It's already prepared and it's running. It's a small application. It's prepared in Laravel and it's running already. So let me check this application locally on my machine. So I have my artisan. It's already running. You can see the application, that's database, and the aspect of the application is already running. So how do I move this application to cPanel such that it will be running online and everybody will see? Because as it is sitting on my system, nobody outside there would be able to access it except I make it public. So how to make it public is to move the application to cPanel. The first thing to do is to zip my application. I can zip this application that is already running. So I'm going to open my XAMPP where it's residing, go to my HD doc, then where the application is, this is the application. Let me delete this. So this is the application. I'm going to zip it. The application zipped. It's on Windows. So if you're using another OS, just look for zip. But on Windows, all I have to do is to send it to compress. So the zipping process has started. While this is going on, I'm going to prepare my cPanel where the application is going to reside. So if you have a cPanel account, you can sign up on any of the host company and see how it's going to work for you. So on my cPanel, so this is my cPanel. I have nothing running. Let me check this. There's no application. You can see it's 4.4 on this mycpanel.org.org. It's one of my testing server. So now I'm going to come back to my cPanel. And the first thing to do is to check my file manager. Oh, some is prompting me the zip is completed. Web, let me just give it a name. Excellent web. So the zipping process has been completed. Let me hold on with that. Let's come to my file manager where the application is going to be. So my public.html, I've packed all the files here. So if you don't have yours, you see a blank space or probably some 1 or 2 files. You can delete them. You don't actually need them. So this is my file. From my root directory, I have this public.html. Once you identify the public.html, inside here, I'm going to upload my zipped file. So I'm going to drag it here or select. So I'm selecting from my C drive, XAMPP, and the zipped. What was zipped? This message that was zipped. I'm going to upload it. This is one way. Once I click it to start uploading. Another way of doing it is to drag the file itself. just drag it here. Just drag the file from here to this location. So let me do that. It's more convenient for me to do. So it's going to perform the same thing. It's done. Depends on your network and the size of what you're dragging. So it has been moved. So all I have to do is to come here, do a refresh. So once I refresh, see what has been uploaded into your folder. It's not there yet, so let's see what's going on. Let's see what exactly is going on. So it's been uploaded. Let's go back. It's still not there. And this time said it's been uploaded. Let me go back again. Upload. Let's select. That should work. So there's nothing we're doing again. All we have to do is try it again. Okay. It's been done. Let's use the other method if this is now. So let's select our files from C drive. Yeah. Now we're going to select this and we open it. Still the same thing. But I think this is more effective now because we're having a more sizable file. Okay. Reload. Oh, actually, I don't know what's not showing up. Okay. Let me go back, come back again. I want to check the file manager again. All right, after refreshing, I discovered that maybe it's the host or something. The file data showed up. So I have this file, so I don't actually need this. I should go back to. So I have this. So this is what was uploaded. I have to do is to unzip this file, just as we have in our planned work. We want to unzip and arrange the file. So let's unzip the file. Let's unzip the file. We're here. So if you refresh, we still have the same thing. It's not showing here, but it's actually showing. So now let's unzip the file. Extract. So we want to extract into the same location. So once you are done extracting the file is done extracting. So we have the replica of this file. We can actually delete this. We don't need it any longer. But let's still leave it. So we have this application residence here. So the next step to do is to arrange the file such that the application can become visible. So let's come to the public. These are public. We want to move the content of this public folder. Public folder is inside our application, Laravel application. So we want to move the contents to the outside here, such that it will no longer be inside this messy land. So the content, not the folder. Now would open the folder, then select all the content, then move the content to where we want to move it to outside, that's inside our HTML directory. So move. It's been moved. That's good. So our public folder is now empty. There's nothing inside. So we can easily delete this. You can delete this public. So let's delete this. I don't need it again. So now let's move up. Inside our HTML, we now have a list of these items. So what we want to do now is to write a script that will point from our index. This is our index page that will point to this miscellaneous where the content app is. So also what we can also do is that we can move this content app. Instead of calling it miscellaneous, we call it our, let me rename it to app, or you leave it like that. You can call it app. Anything that you choose that is convenient for you, you can call it app, or let's name it a web app. Let's have web app. Good. Now we have web app, which is our where our site actually, the content of our site residence. So we're going to edit this and point it to web app. So I want to edit. So we're going to see, because we have our web app inside the public underscore HTML. So we have a web app inside. Suppose we have a web app outside. All we have to do is to have this. We're going to have something like this. That means it's outside. So just know where you position, where you put your web app or whatever you call the name. So our web app is there. I'm pointing it to vendor.autoload. I'm also pointing it to the Bootstrap app. Now I'm going to put this here. Why am I doing this? Now let's quickly take a look at our work, web app, vendor, autoload. So there's a folder inside this web app that is called Bootstrap, and another one called vendor. So we have a vendor, which is this, and there's a file called autoload. So we're pointing it to autoload file. Can you see this autoload file? So that's where we are pointing these two. Also, this we have Bootstrap and app.php. So we have Bootstrap, then there's app.php. So this app.php. So we are pointing it. That's why we are arranging our folder in this one. So once we are done with it, all we have to do is to save. We try to load our sites now. Let's say we try to access this. Yes, we'll be seeing errors. Why we seeing these errors? Because the system is still keeping the section of what I have in my local host, and we have to clear the cache. How do we clear the cache? Naturally, if we want to clear cache in our local host, all we do is to write clear cache, be something like php cache. We might need to, sorry, let me confirm this before. So we're going to have something like cache will clear. So if we run this, it's going to clear our cache. Now we are now on our cPanel, and how do we run this application? How do we clear cache? All we have to do is to create a route that with the function to clear this cache. Let me quickly take you through this. clear cache, to clear cache in cPanel. Now, I'm going to show you this. Just going to copy this. Can see it in a couple of moments. So now this is my route. This is my local. So I'm going to check it my C drive. We want to identify where the cache is. So back to my web.app where my information is. So I'm going to locate the route, go to my web, then edit this. So inside my web, I'm going to paste this there. So this is to clear my cache. So anytime I call this, the URL is going to perform the function that is here. So this is a way of running PHP artisan serve. So when you do this, it's going to perform the same thing like PHP artisan serve in your local drive. So let's save our work and see how we can quickly perform this. So we want to click cache. So let's wait for it. Okay. Remove such file in the directory. Done. Can you see? I'm trying it again and it's done. It shows that the cache has been cleared because it was shown here that this is local, and because we have it here, that once this is run, then we have done as the return type. Now this has been done, so let's go back to our mercyland.org. Now we have access to root localhost deny. Why are we having this? We're having this because our database, we're carrying the information from our localhost and we're still using the same information on the on our browser. So we have to change the username to the username of our database on the cPanel and change the password. This is a route that we're using on the local machine. So how do we do that? We're going to create a database on our C drive. Let's quickly go to our C drive. Yes, this is our C drive. So we're going to create a database. So I'm going to say PHP my admin. This is PHP my admin. This is PHP my admin. Okay. Actually, if I want to use any database, my local database, I should be able to create. I can easily create a database, but here you have to do it in another way. So you come to this MySQL database. So for you to create a database and for you to get a user. Now I'm going to create a database. Let's say test DB. So create database, it's not existing. So the test DB is already here. So I'm going to copy it. I'll go back. So I've created a database, but I have to add a user to the database. Now I can make use of any of these user. If I know these are the databases available. So I can make use of some of the users that I have. So we have users already existing. We have admin, blah, blah, blah. But I'm going to create another user and assign that user, give the user the privilege of accessing the database. So the database I created is this, Mercyland, STP, and there's no user assigned to it. So all I have to do is to assign the user here to database. How do I do that? All I have to do is to select the database. Select a user, maybe an admin, then select database test. Now, I don't want to do that. I want to quickly create a new user so that I can, for the sake of knowledge, want to create a new user. Now, I'm going to create a root user and give it a password. So I'm going to give it a password at this place. I'm going to give it a password. So I'm going to repeat this. So I can easily create a user. So the user is created already. Let me go back. So I'm not going to place this user, give this user the privilege. I see it's been created. So this user is going to have the privilege of accessing our test DB. So the user that I just created, which is this, will be able to use this database. I can assign more than one user. So we are granting the user the whole privilege. You can minimize, reduce the privilege. So you add, so the privilege has been added to the user. If we go back and check the database again, we discover that the database now has a user. So we're going to check our database now and see if database already existing. Good. Can you see? Our test database is there. So the next thing is to now go back to see our application and locate where our .env is. This is where our database information resides. So we're going to edit it. So this is what we have in our local. So we have we now have this information, STP. Then our username is the username that we created. So we have, let's check again. So we have this username. So make sure there is no mistake there. And the password will be tagged as maybe something. Maybe something. So I'm going to pause the video, put the password, and load the application. Not security reasons, I won't be typing my password. So all we do is, if you set all the parameters well, then everything will work fine. So let me quickly pause the video, put the password there, and see if the application is going to come online or not. So I'm back. The password has been entered, and now we have a password in our MV, everything is set. So the next thing is to refresh our application and see what we get. If it works, fine. So it's still telling us that this has been denied. It's in our whole database information. Then we have to clear the cache again. So how do we clear the cache? We call the same function that we called the other time. So it's done. So let's go back and see the application is going to come online or not. Now, the next thing is that the cache has been done. It's already sent to the database, but it's not sending any table. There's nothing inside our database. So why do we have that? Why is that there is nothing? Because we've not populated anything. There's nothing. The tables are empty. Everything is empty. So how do we get this populated? All we have to do is to move our SQL from our local DB, which is here. These are local DB. So I'm going to export this from our local DB. I'm going to export this SQL. How do you export? Export from here. You export the content to, want to export all these tables that we have in this, let's say land DB. I have the tables here, everything. I'm going to export them in SQL format. So all I have to do is to click on Go. And you can see everything has been exported. No, it's not the property only. I want to export everything. So all these tables, everything on migration to be exported. So let me just export this. Now, be careful so that this will not happen to you. I just exported and as observed, it's just a table that is exported. So I'm going to export everything. So you can see the ODB has been exported. Now, if you go to where it resides, you can see it's quite different. Let me delete this so that it won't confuse. So we have this. So this would not be populated in our online. So we want to move this. What I do mostly is to drag this. After opening this SQL tab, then I drag my already generated file there. So it's automatically go there. Depends on the size and how fast your machine is. It's done. It doesn't take time. So let's check if we have the table. Can you see the table is already there online? So let's see, does the application come online? Wow, it's there. Can you see? Application is now online. So if you check this URL, you're going to hit this application. So far, we have been able to upload our Laravel application on My Cpanel. That's it. If you have any question, can you drop it in the comments below? Thank you for watching.